Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our March advisor webinar. As usual, we're going to start off today with me doing my usual advisor updates. Then we will be hearing from Mickey in the accreditation team, talk about the Librarian Media Specialist Not Endorsed collection. We are also going to post a video from Jim Kent talking about the non-public federal programs within boundaries, consultation and Title I non-public consultation for collections. We need to get that video converted to different formats, so we'll be posting it here, like right up where you see the resources here, probably before the end of the week. So I've got a copy of my slides posted here as well, and a video of this session will be posted under this resources under the March tab once we are done and have that processed as well. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and start on my section, advisor status updates. First, a couple of 21-22 updates. Although this is technically 2021, your CRDC data is due by March 11th, as if anyone hasn't done that yet, I'm sure you're aware. They pushed back the due date from February 28th. Again, you're responsible for reviewing all of your data, the school data and the district data. You check off the data once it's confirmed, and that locks the data in through the CRDC website. And at this point, you could still keep checking our advisor validation CRDC reports just to look at the numbers we have. We have been fixing a few bugs in those that have been reported, but since NDE has already pushed data out for you guys, we don't want to update your data at this point. We might overwrite what you're doing, so just keep in mind, you could always pull up the validation reports and see the latest version that we have on our side. Something for the 21-22 school year. I've got all of our career education reports are now available in Building Nightly. Most of these reports are based off of course data and builds overnight. So that includes the programs of study offered. By the way, if you're wondering, the programs of study have not changed at all compared to last year. So no new courses, no new programs, anything like that. So the programs of study that are being offered per the course data you're sending us, that's being shown now. We also have a bunch of Perkins 5 reports are loading now. There's one that I think is just called Perkins 5 Counts. There's the Perkins 5 Concentrator Course Report and the Perkins 5 Indicator Report and the Indicator Trends. All of those are being built now, but of course those are subject to change as you upload additional course data for the year. Also, the programs lookup, if you do a lookup on career education programs, that will also return the same Perkins 5 data that's built overnight. Something that's still on my list, we're going to add instructional unit reports into advisor validation. Something that's been on a request for a while, but I just haven't gotten time to get to that. Basically, you'll see reports that are the same as what the accreditation team uses. Finally, this is just for Infinite Campus users. You may have been seeing that error that said the security certificate was expiring and to upload a new one. The warning now should go away. ESUCC updated the certificates on their side. You never had to actually upload anything, so just so you know. Anna asked a question. By the way, if anyone has questions, please use the Q&A button within Zoom. Anna said, did any of those career education reports require grade data to be uploaded? I don't think they do. I think as long as the course sections have students in them and have a teacher attached to them, then we can use them. I'm 99% sure of that, but if you find something different, please let me know. Okay. All right, moving on. I want to talk about the pandemic EBT system. We've been talking about this for a few months, saying it was close and close to getting approved. Well, it has been approved in the last month. So since then, the data side at NDE and the nutrition services team, we've both been working to get some things ready. So as of right now, if you go into our NDE portal, the PEBT file upload app is now open for 21-22. As the file format, I believe we talked about last month, I want to say. It's very similar to last year, but there's a slight change in the format of the data, in that now we're collecting the number of days that students are missing due to COVID. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I will give you some good resources. First, just a reminder, the first due date is March 18th. I know it's pretty short, but we didn't have a lot of room for that based on how long it took to get our plan approved. So if you upload any August, September, or October files into the PEBT app, we will process them after March 18th. But if you are not able to get those months uploaded before then, you can catch up for any of the later benefit runs as well. Generally, there's about one per month. And the best place to go see that is actually here, the nutrition services website. So once you're on this page, if you scroll down, there is a section about PEBT, some basics. Here you will find the issuance calendar. So this was the due date I was talking about. But you see we have generally one per month. We will also run benefits again April 15th, May 16th, and July 18th should hopefully be the last one. All right, sorry, this question from Jeannie going back to CRDC. At this point, Jeannie, NDE is not sending any more data to CRDC. We just did it basically one time because we have a problem where if we keep sending updates, we could be overriding people who are making corrections like you were. So yes, at this point, all districts, you are making your own corrections within the CRDC website. NDE is not going to provide any more data for you at this point, not directly. Sorry, going back to here, PBT, like I said, here's the calendar. There's some instructions here, and here's the resources. I know that nutrition services is also looking at adding more stuff to this. We just had, or nutrition services hosted their first webinar about this on Monday. So here are the slides, and there's a video of that webinar. Here's a copy of the upload instructions. These are the same things you'll see if you go into the PBT file upload app and click the instructions link. So I know they're also like building frequently asked questions based on partially what they got from the webinar. They'll be putting that together here. There may or may not be another webinar, I'm not sure, but generally the nutrition services team sends that out to all of the district food program contacts. But yeah, the session we had goes into a lot more detail about eligibility for a school versus eligibility for students to actually receive benefits. There's a couple of frequently asked questions already in here, as you can see. I am not going to cover all of that right here, but I would definitely recommend everyone check out the Nebraska Nutrition Services link, which is just on our website /NS. Or if you go to the slides for today, you can click this link in the slides. All right, any questions about the PBT system that I could answer? I couldn't necessarily answer all the eligibility type of questions, but anything with the file upload site, please let me know. We had a few bugs with the file upload site where we opened the site and then I closed it down so we could fix the bugs real quick. But as of yesterday afternoon, I believe everything is working on that. Where can you find these slides, Nancy? If you go here to the data conference website, same place where you register, and go down to March, you can click this monthly advisor update, and that's a copy of my slides. And I sent you the link in the Q&A there. Alrighty, let's see, where was I? Okay. Well, I'm not seeing too many more questions come in. All right, moving on. A lot of this we talked about last month, so not too much new here. Just wanted to note that basically the two big fields we talked about last month have been tentatively approved to be used in advisor next year, which was in the student section association, the temp status descriptor. So that way it will make it clear to us which students have failed or not completed the course. And then the course offering instructional time planned field, which is the total minutes planned for a course. We did get some feedback and some details. Millard helped us with that about how even within a course offering, sometimes those minutes can vary. So I think we will, I'll be working with the accreditation team. We'll create some guidance on how districts want to report this when they have multiple courses or multiple sections with the same course offering in different lengths. So we will include that in the guidance for next year. Basically pick a rule which way we want it to go. And so hopefully that could answer that for you. One more change that's already been approved this week. Really just a small thing, the disability code 03 that was called hearing impaired is now going to be relabeled as deaf or hard of hearing. That is the terminology that the special education rules adopted a few years ago, but we never updated it on advisor's side. So we're going to recommend that student information systems change the labels as well. But no functionality is actually changing. You know, the SIS still reports a code 03 as a code 03 to us. Nothing really changes there. so far, those are the only real changes we're predicting for 22-23. I may have some more for you next month, though. We will see. But definitely by the time that we actually generate the documentation for next year, you will be able to see all of the changes. All right, not seeing any questions. Right, here's a fun little topic. So something we don't do very often, but we are actually having to plan an outage at NDE's side, and I thought this would be helpful for people here to hear about it. We'll also be sending out other communications about this. Basically, some of our older systems are being, we have to shut down and physically move the servers. So we are planning those systems will be totally offline for part of the workday on Thursday, March 24th. This includes a lot of stuff, and this isn't even necessarily a complete list, but the NDE portal will be down and everything that you can access through it. Generally, yeah, if you can't get into the portal, you can't get, none of the apps will let you get in without the portal also being up. So offhand, that includes, advisor validation, person ID, staff reporting, PBT upload that we just talked about. In addition, several of the public websites that our team works on will also be down. That's like the Nebraska Education Profile, the NEP report card, and the COVID special report with the NSCAS results, the Education Directory, Annual Financial Report, the NECBRS Early Childhood Professional Record System. Actually, no, Missy, I don't think you will, but I'll get to that. And also, I know parts of GMS and teacher certification could be affected. They're working on how to handle it, but there's parts of those systems that call data live over staff data from us live, and they wouldn't be able to do that during that time. So there are a couple of key things that are not affected. Just want to mention most of our public website, the standard, like this nutrition services page, that wouldn't be affected. And key thing, the advisor EdFi API is not down. So that's the API where you are publishing data from your SIS, that doesn't go down. So, so you won't be generating a bunch of errors by publishing. It is kind of a pain, though, that you will not be able to get to the advisor validation website because that runs through the portal to see the results of what you're publishing that day. We don't know exactly how long it'll go down. It could be an hour, could be all day, where we'll just kind of play that by ear, I guess. And I wanted to note that we'll send a bulletin to all users, put a message on the portal about it, probably within the next day. And then we'll make sure we send a reminder bulletin next week as well. And then, yeah, that's, yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow is the outage. So yeah, any questions about this, please put them in the Q&A. So yeah, Missy said, do we need to turn off syncing? I do not believe you do. And I was asking about the NSCAS file. We are actually going to we're going to try to pull the NSCAS file during that time, because like I said, the advisor servers are actually still up. Although we decided to extend the time a little bit, so we are going to pull the final version of the rosters that week on Friday morning. And NWEA said as long as we get the roster to them by noon on Friday, the changes will still appear for districts at NWEA's website by Monday. So basically, no, it shouldn't be affecting anything with the NSCAS roster. Any other questions? All right. Well, that's all I had for today. If you have any other questions, topics you want to discuss now, we got a few minutes, so let me know. Jean is asking about Power School. Ed5 reports say processing, but won't finish going through to advisor. That is, I know, something that has happened to a few Power School districts. And there are a few ways to deal with it. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, Jean, but definitely I would recommend if you have Power School support locally, let them know, or else put in a ticket with Power School corporate support. I believe a few other districts have been going through there and getting the help to get unstuck. Ellie also mentioned verify that your key secret is still there in Power School when you go to your data exchange setup. I know recently I've had 4 or 5 districts where the key and secret disappeared and we had to fill them back in. And if you don't know what your key and secret are, put in a ticket here to the service desk advisorhelp@nebraskacloud.org, and I will be able to send the key to you. That reminds me, another message for Power School districts. Please start publishing your attendance data and your grades data if you have that. With the recent update at the end of February that fixed the publishing issues with those. So a lot of you probably haven't had that data published at all yet this year until you go in and send it up. All right. Not seeing any more questions, but go ahead and pop something in if you want. I'm a little early. I think we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll start at 10 o'clock with Mickey.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mickey Scharf, and I'm the Director of Accreditation for the Nebraska Department of Education. Last month, I recorded the webinar for non-public curriculum report and instructional units. So I'm super excited to be in person, live with you today. And those of you from across the state, don't know how much snow you're sending our way, but we're ready for it. And if anyone has family members down here at the state tournament that made it to state basketball, congratulations to them. We're going to focus today on the 2021-22 Counselor and Library Media Specialist Collection. This collection was developed about 5 years ago in response to monitoring the flexibility in rural about persons who don't have the endorsement yet for library, media, or counselor to obtain that endorsement while serving in that position. And I'll get a little bit more into the context and flexibility in rural here in a few slides. So again, we're going to talk about Rule 10 and 14 context, where the regulations are and what they say. We want to confirm the collection dates for this 21-22 school year. And then the last part of the presentation is going to talk about the process of communication and submitting corrective plans for unmet progress. In Rule 10, there's a regulation 00704 about the instructional staff at a school setting. And this one sets the parameters for what we call staffing. And it requires that a person with the proper endorsement for library science or educational media specialist is assigned at least one half-time basis to provide library media services. Now, mind you, the varying sizes and number of enrollment across the state varies. So the rest of this 00704 then scaffolds that staffing, and at what increments of student enrollment levels do you add more FTE. But the staffing requirement at a minimum is to have someone one half-time FTE with the library endorsement. There's flexibility in 00704B, in which someone that doesn't currently hold the endorsement can serve in that position and be coded in that position if such person acquires 6 credit hours, not PD hours, but credit hours from an institution each year toward the appropriate endorsement. So again, this data collection was developed by NDE programmers so that we could monitor that progress over a multi-year increments, multi-year longitudinal, as they work towards obtaining the endorsement. Real quick on the counselor staffing, same thing. You're going to see that minimum requirement in 00705A that says thou shall have at least this FTE of guidance and counseling. And in this one, it says when enrollment increases to over 400, then you need to start adding FTE of appropriate endorsement counselors to the program. Flexibility is stated in 05D and 05E, in which if a person has 2 years of teaching experience and can acquire the 6 credit hours per year, we will monitor that progress towards the endorsement, and that's the flexibility then in rule to have someone who isn't endorsed in that position yet. Specifically for non-public schools in the state of Nebraska that are Rule 10 accredited, this is different than Rule 14 approved. Non-public Rule 10 schools can use their clergy to fill the requirements of the counselor position specifically. So the rationale behind this and why we need a multi-year monitoring collection is for the counselor in particular, it's going to take 36 hours. Many of the programs in Nebraska that you see listed there, it requires a master's level degree in counseling. So if you're making the 6 hours per year, or 5 hours per year, you're going to take about 5 or 6 years to meet that endorsement. It can be met sooner, of course, but with time schedules and course offerings, it's going to take multi-years. And how this report or this collection gets generated is when a school system hires their staff and completes the personnel codes for staff reporting, we have the codes 2120, 2121, and that's elementary and secondary counselor positions. And then we have a 2222 position code for librarian and a 2223 for media specialists. The data pool occurs at the end of October, and that is how the list is generated, and your school gets added to the collection to submit data. If a person is added after November 1st, we need you to submit a help ticket so that the programmer can add that person to the collection and we can start monitoring that progress together. Once 50% of the program is completed, the candidate secures a provisional endorsement, which once you have a provisional endorsement, that allows you 2 years to complete your program and also drops the person off the collection list. This collection is somewhat longer than other data reports and just shorter collections for other reports. November 30th is when we launch that. That's when we're really confident in the data that's in there. We've wrapped up any loose ends, and the collection is generated and sent to those schools. In particular, for this school year, we extended the due date to March 31st. Accreditation Twitter account tweeted out, it was in the NDE bulletin, that we were going to do this past the traditional March 15th or March 1st date. It kind of varies over the years. We are going to, and I'll show you on the next slide, how we'll know if a school has or has not submitted their data yet. We know that you keep track of a large amount of data and data entry. So we'll send a reminder with schools that haven't submitted and reviewed their library media information so that you can meet that March 31st due date. Technical issues, trouble with accessing the collection, information about particular fields, you'll reach out to the advisor help desk, and 99% of the time they're going to be able to help you with the technical issues, or they'll send you over to accreditation if it's a more nuanced question about what to report, or if a person summer courses sometimes come up, and if a person is taking a course that ends before June 30th, end of year data reporting, then you can count those credit hours for this year's collection, and just some nuances like that. When does the term start and when does the term end to submit credit hours to the collection? So this slide just kind of shows you, I'm not entirely sure, this is what we see on the back office side. I think it looks pretty closely, pretty much like what you see on the school side. You can see a 3-year progress here, starting with 2019, 2020, and then 2021 and 21-22. I draw your attention down here to the red. And this would be an example of on March 15th, when we pull the data, this school is going to come up as not reviewed, not reported yet. You can see that they have information in there, but they haven't confirmed it. And when they do confirm it, then it'll turn green and says staff member reviewed and updated. So that's what we will do on our side to help you make sure that you're meeting the requirements, that your candidate staff members are meeting the flexibility and making adequate progress towards obtaining the endorsement. Now I'd like to talk about unmet progress. And what is nice in accreditation is the commissioner has allowed a lot of flexibility in how we monitor. We understand completely all the different factors that are affecting school systems in Nebraska. So I'm going to walk you through this because I want to assure you that we're here to collaborate, to troubleshoot, and to ultimately help you help the person stay on track so they can get that proper endorsement. And that's going to kind of be our goal for this year. So once that audit window closes and we're confident that all the data has been reviewed and submitted, we're going to reach out and confirm any deficiencies with individual school administrators. And we also understand sometimes when we call a school that it isn't necessarily the superintendent entering the data in the media collection, library collection. So we just kind of want to know if it's a clerical error or if it's a true unmet progress at this point. So for unmet progress, we will send out, I don't want to call it a formal notice because formal notice kind of means violation. And what we want to do is just notify the school via communication and explain that the flexibility wasn't met for this particular school year. Then in response, the school will submit on letterhead just the context, the situation, the factors that contributed to the unmet progress, and then end that with a corrective measure or a corrective action that the school will do to ensure compliance for next year. And then the final thing we would ask is that on next year's assurance statement, that the school acknowledge that they did not make adequate progress, or it was an unmet regulation last year, and kind of copy and paste per se, or at least reiterate what they'll do to help the staff member meet the flexibility set forth in rule and ultimately obtain that endorsement. And I want to reiterate that message again from all of us at NDE. We're here to collaborate. We're here to troubleshoot. We're here to support during some pretty unique times in working in the educational system. We also want to extend the invitation to reach out about other things, any questions. There's a multitude of resources and great work that the department's doing, and sometimes a school person, an educator, an administrator just needs help locating where that information is, and that's what we're here for also. Again, that help desk ticket system is really great for miscellaneous type questions because they then can route it to the appropriate person that can link you up with websites or direct you to maybe somebody in the ESU that can help you with information and resources. And ultimately, we all know that we got into education to lead into support the preparation of all Nebraskans for learning, earning, and living. And that's just something we all should be very proud of. So I want to thank you for the time. I keep these pretty brief in case there are any questions. I know they're recorded for future viewers. And again, that's my contact information. We try to tweet out due dates and little bits of information of what's going on in accreditation. So feel free to follow us on that. And I'm not sure if I see any questions. I'm going to look at that. No.
And nothing so far.
Well, that means that this collection is solid, right? And that people kind of know what is expected of it, and hopefully feeling assured that we'll work with you on troubleshooting any unmet regulations.
Thanks, Mickey.
Yeah, do you want me to stop share yet?
Sure, yeah. And then if nobody has any questions, I'll just share a couple closing slides, reminders, talk about things that are coming up, but feel free to shoot questions while I'm presenting as well. Shouldn't take too long here. So just a reminder, same thing I say every month. We've got our website, nedataconference.com. You can go to and register every month for the upcoming webinars. It is the second Wednesday of every month, and we do require registration for each one. Once next month's registration is open, we'll get a bulletin sent out, so look for that. There is a reminder here, as Max mentioned, we have a pre-recorded session regarding the consolidated data collections, non-public federal programs within boundaries consultation and the Title I non-public consultation form collections. But that's not quite ready, but we'll get that up and on the website as soon as possible. Upcoming content, we're going to have the educator certification team. We've got the career and technical education team talking about reporting Perkins data. We'll have another PEBT session, and in May we'll talk about advisor year-end reporting. So lots of fun and interesting content coming your way. We'll get the bulletin sent again later, probably this week, when the GIMS video from the federal programs team is up, and then also when we have the April agenda finalized and registration is open for that. So that's all we've got. Any questions pop up? All right. So thanks everybody for attending today. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next month.